All right, let's dive into a powerful story from the Buddhist scriptures. It all starts in this quiet little grove in a place called Cātuma. But as you'll see, that quiet is about to be completely shattered, and it leads to an incredible lesson on the hidden dangers of the spiritual path. So, picture this. A huge group, 500 monks, shows up to see the Buddha. And they're not just any monks. They're led by his top disciples, Sariputta and Moggallana. It's a massive gathering, a really big deal.
But there's a problem. As all these monks arrive, they're greeting each other, setting up their spots, putting away their things, and they are making an unbelievable amount of noise. The text actually calls them high-voiced and great-voiced. Basically, they were being super loud. Now, the Buddha, who is there for some peace and quiet, hears this whole uproar. And he turns to his attendant, Ananda, and asks this really sharp question. You can tell right away he's not seeing them as a group of devoted students, he sees them as something else.
And his comparison here is, wow, it's brutal. He says they sound like fishermen shouting and haggling over their catch. Now, this isn't just him complaining about the noise, it's a deep critique of their lack of mindfulness. To him, they just sound chaotic and totally undisciplined. And his reaction is just as intense as his words. He has Ananda gather all the monks, and then he just dismisses them, right on the spot. He literally tells them, "Go, I dismiss you. You can't stay near me." All 500 of them. Can you even imagine how shocking that must have been? Okay, so that's a pretty intense start, but the story isn't over, not by a long shot. Because as the monks are leaving, someone else steps in to try and fix things. This is where the whole mood starts to shift. So the local lay followers, the Sakyans, see this huge group of monks packing up, looking totally heartbroken. They go up to them, find out what happened, and they're like, "Whoa, hold on, just wait here. We'll go talk to the Buddha for you."
And their argument is just full of compassion. They go to the Buddha and they say, "Look, we get it, but a lot of these monks are new, they're just starting out. If they don't get to see you, to learn from you, they might just give up entirely."
Then they use this beautiful analogy to really make their point. They compare the new monks to young seeds. Without the water of the Buddhist teaching, these fragile little seeds could just dry up and wither away before they even get a chance to grow. And they don't stop there. They add another really touching image, a young calf that's been separated from its mother. It would be totally lost, right? They're saying these new monks need their teacher in the exact same way. They need that guidance. You know, this is a big deal because it even gets divine attention. The great deity Brahma Sahampati, the one who first begged the Buddha to teach, appears in a flash of light. And he repeats the exact same arguments, using the same analogies, just to really drive the point home.
So faced with this compassionate plea from the locals, these beautiful analogies, and a deity backing them up, the Buddha relents. The intervention works. He agrees to see the monks, and they're all called back. So the monks are back. And now, the Buddha has their complete and undivided attention. He doesn't just let it go. He uses this whole incident as a massive teaching moment, and he introduces a timeless lesson on the 4 great internal dangers we all face on the path, using this powerful metaphor of someone entering deep water.
The first danger is umi bhayam, which means the fear of waves. The Buddha says this is really about anger and despair. You know that feeling, right? When someone corrects you and it feels like a wave of criticism just smacked you in the face. The danger is reacting with anger and just shutting down. You can almost hear the person's ego talking. They're thinking, "Hey, I was the one giving advice back in my old life. Who are these people who are way younger than me to tell me what to do?" And that pride, that fear of the wave, makes them give up the training entirely. Next up, we've got kumbhilabhayam, the fear of crocodiles. Now, the crocodile here stands for gluttony. Just think about it. A crocodile can grab you and pull you under the water before you know what's happening, and an unchecked appetite can do the exact same thing to your spiritual practice.
This is the person who gets obsessed with food. They start hating the rules about when to eat or what not to eat. They just daydream about their old life where they could eat anything, anytime. Eventually, that craving, that crocodile, gets too strong and they abandon the path. Third is avatapayam, the fear of whirlpools. The Buddha says this represents the 5 kinds of sensual pleasures, all the beautiful things you can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. A whirlpool is sneaky, right? It doesn't attack you, it just pulls you in, spinning you around until you're completely lost. And it's so easy to see how this happens. A monk goes into town and sees someone living the good life. They have money, nice things, entertainment, and a thought pops into his head. You know, I still have wealth back home. I could be enjoying all this stuff and be a good person. The pull of that whirlpool just becomes too much, and he leaves.
And finally, we have Susukha Bhayam, the fear of sharks. Think about a shark attack. It's sudden, it's violent, it comes out of nowhere. The Buddha says this is what lustful thoughts are like. They're a powerful, all-consuming force that can just overwhelm you in an instant.
This danger can strike when you least expect it. Maybe the practitioner is just going about their day, their guard is down, and suddenly, boom, an overwhelming thought of lust just floods their mind. It feels like a shark attack. And faced with that overpowering desire, they feel like they just can't continue and they give up.
So, those are the 4 great dangers: waves, crocodiles, whirlpools, and sharks. They represent these timeless challenges that are just as real for any of us trying to improve ourselves today as they were for those monks thousands of years ago.
Let's just run through them one more time. We've got the waves, that's reacting badly to criticism. The crocodile, that's an uncontrolled appetite for things like food. The whirlpool, getting sucked back into chasing worldly pleasures. And the shark, the sudden, overwhelming attack of lust. 4 incredible metaphors for 4 very real struggles.
And that really brings us to the most important question, doesn't it? This isn't just an old story. It's a map of the hazards that we all face when we try to live a better, more mindful, or more meaningful life. So just take a moment and think about it. Which of these dangers do you find yourself navigating? Which water is the trickiest for you?